going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You know what time it is. Episode 58 up in the mix. We had the pleasure of speaking with Soul analysts. And before we get to it, you know what time it is. If you got yourself an Android and or an iPhone, do yourself a favor. Download the FTX app. Stay up to date with the latest cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Without further ado, I am your host, Gaddis TV. What's going on, y'all? And let's get to it. All righty, and we are live and direct. So first off, I want to honestly say thank you for coming on, taking some time out of your, I guess, kind of evening now, and talking a little bit about Soul analyst, correct?
Soul analysis.
Analysis. I even said before I'm going to fuck it up. Jesus, man, me and my gosh darn grammar. So I guess without further ado, before I guess we talk about that exactly, really for the people that don't know, because a lot of people will know, I guess really about really what you have going on I guess y'all's I don't know, project, I guess community. So I guess one, what were you doing before crypto? What got you interested in crypto in general? And then what got you introduced into Solana on first, I guess, questions?
What I was doing before crypto. So there's actually three of us as co-founders of Soul Analysis. Before crypto, I mean, we've been around crypto, just talking in our own circles, a lot of our friend groups for years now. A couple of us went to MIT together, and there was a project really early on where they actually gave every MIT student like $100 of Bitcoin. So I think everyone who was there got really lucky, but also I just had really early exposure. So that started a lot of the buzz. Before this, me and one other co-founder, we were working in more of a Web2 company. We were working at a company called Cloud Kitchens, and we were actually running a business unit within Cloud Kitchens. We scaled that up to be a pretty large business. We're like, damn, this was really fun, but this isn't the kind of business that we want to run long term. And so this was back, maybe 6-7 months ago now. We started thinking about what we wanted to work on next, and really, that was right around the right time where we had a couple of different ideas actually within crypto, because that's where a lot of our interest was. We started to watch the Solana NFT ecosystem take off. I can get more into that later. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's really how we ended up here.
Nice. And you said it was, I guess, three of y'all. I guess y'all knew each other from school, or was it like reaching out on the Twitter, internet, stuff like that? How did the team come about?
Yeah, so a bunch of us are just like friends for like years, to be honest. And so me and one of my co-founders went to MIT together, and then a third co-founder, we grew up in Staten Island together.
Hell yeah. Did I guess at MIT, did y'all ever think y'all gonna be doing anything like with crypto stuff like that, or was that kind of, I guess, what y'all were learning, things like that? Because I definitely did not go to MIT. So what was your plans going into MIT compared to like where you are now? Are they on the same path or completely different?
I was personally pretty interested in finance overall, in investing, for example. And so like, it doesn't surprise me too much to see that, and thinking about my co-founders as well, a lot of them worked in finance as well, whether it's more on the tech side or like trading or investing. So I feel like people who come from a lot of those backgrounds were predisposed to get into crypto within the last few years. So would I have known beforehand that I'd be like working in this space? Absolutely not. But now looking back on it, it makes sense to me.
Hell yeah. Question I'll ask, and it's maybe not dangerous question in the crypto world. That $100 or 100 Bitcoin, I guess from MIT. I guess you don't have to answer the question realistically. You still got it? Or you lost the wallet? You know what I mean? Because the YouTube question, people are like, "Oh, dude, does he still have it?" I might as well be that guy and ask.
I don't know what it would be worth. Like, I'm not even sure what exact month or year it was. It would be worth like a decent amount more than $100, but maybe it got up to like $600 or $700. And I remember one of my friends in college at the time. This is probably like our maybe let's say we got it like sophomore or junior year. Mm-hmm. It was like our senior year, and we watched it go like 6 or 7x up, and we're like, oh yeah, that's good money. A bunch of people used their money to like buy random shit online, like yeah. So like but me and this other guy, we looked at each other. And we're like, "Yo, like this is pretty high. I don't know how much higher it's gonna get from here." It was like kind of local peak. Let's sell it. So we sold it then, and obviously now we look like complete idiots. But I
Never
rebought back in plenty of times. So
heard that. No, I know the infamous guy that bought the pizza was I didn't know him or anything, but
oh my
I'm
god,
pretty sure he was in the same exact city as I am back in the day, and I don't think that's ever going to be going away, that story. So with soul analysis,
yep.
when I guess overall, what is it for people in Solana? Of course, realistically, they probably will know what it is. For new people in general that are kind of getting into NFT Solana, what is soul analysis?
Yeah, we aim to be the one-stop shop for Solana NFTs. We want to help users and members of the community learn about NFTs, keep track of the market, and just discover what's happening. And so, what we really started with was the leaderboard that you see today. It hasn't even changed all that much since we launched it. We launched it and shipped it really, really quickly when we started out in August. We got a lot of amazing feedback. I remember a bunch of other teams gave us a shout out like our first day after we launched. I remember the Phantom team tweeted us out, and that was such a special feeling. Such a special feeling to us because a lot of us have worked on building businesses or building products before, and we know that it's really hard, right? And so if you can get really positive feedback early on, that's incredible. And I think what we did was we were in the community, right? We were part of the community, and we said like we felt that we wanted this for ourselves, right? And a lot of the things that you see on our website are things that we wanted for ourselves. So like the leaderboard, it was just at the time, it wasn't even about like, hey, what's the volume or what are they trading at? Like that was relevant and helpful. Part of it was just like, hey, what are the NFT collections on Solana,
Yeah.
right? Like you had creatures launch like really, really early on. You had Solarians launch really, really early on. When we got in was basically when DJ and Ape Academy launched.
Okay.
And so, but like there was like, I don't know, there was very limited number of collections, but even then you were like, hey, this is taking off, and I don't even know where to go to figure any of this out. And all the other features that we've added really since then, like NFT Flex, you can go put in your wallet address. That tells you. We actually have our own models to estimate the value of your NFTs,
Nice.
based on whether or not we're indexing them. The upcoming tab is really just to stay on top of what NFT collections are newly launching. This is maybe a couple of weeks ago now. We even added a likes feature so that different people in the community can just go like it, and it gives kind of a social indicator of like, hey, this collection's hot, this one's not. We even added a spotlight tag. So what we're doing there is, if you're like a known wallet in the space, if you're Soul Big Brain or Solana Legend or someone like that, and you go like the collection will actually get a spotlight tag. So a lot of collections actually ask us like, hey, can we pay for the spotlight tag? And we're like, yeah, we're not interested in we're not just gonna throw a spotlight tag on your collection randomly. But if you want to go talk to someone in the community who's well known and get them to like your project, they can kind of I think a lot of people in the community are sensitive about like, oh, I don't want to endorse this project. I don't necessarily know them
Yeah.
closely, but that's why we created like more of a liking feature. So it's like, hey, this is what I'm looking out for. And then Moonshot was really we started getting working so closely with projects. And so really this became our launchpad, where we help different NFT projects launch their collection. We'll build a customized mint site for them. So in some cases, I think you'll see like you'll see launch pads where they kind of host it on their own website, and it's just kind of like a small button. We really wanted to build this more like Shopify type experience where we create this landing page for them with the different sections. Like here's the roadmap, here's the team, etc. And we handle really all the technical and development work for them to have a functional mint site.
Nice. And so I guess y'all came out on I guess August, right? I guess when the DGen Apes, I guess first minted on that. I know that I won't say exactly from them. I think because I was in Philly, seeing family at that time, and I was telling my
Mm.
sister's husband, like, "Yo, you take a look at Solana." You know what I mean? Like my buddy's telling me about it. I'm in it a little bit, and like literally the next day, I wake up and say, "Hey, man, you see the price?" I'm like, "Nah." Oh, snap. Okay, you know what I mean? My buddy had one. He's like, "Oh, I mean that was sick on that." Um, with I guess with projects, we go for the I guess the people and everything on that. For I guess people that are new to honestly like Solana NFT stuff like that. Realistically, what do you think is maybe not the most important things to kind of look at the page, but how would a user read the page? It's kind of honestly self-explanatory with everything on there. But for people that are listening, what would you look at as a investor, so to say?
Yeah, it's it's definitely not a perfect science, and like there are certain metrics that can be skewed for different reasons. Um, I think that there's a couple concepts here. First of all, the leaderboard is sorted by a measure that we use, which is market cap. That definition of market cap has changed a little bit, but overall, what we're generally going for is like what you'd expect market cap to be. So like price times supply.
Right.
Um, we've tweaked a little bit like what price means. Like, hey, is it the floor price? Is it the average price? Is it 7 day average? Is it 1 day average? But overall, let's call it price times supply. So like that
Mm-hmm.
really gives you a sense right off the bat. Like, and you can see it kind of comes up in relatively proper order. Shadowy Supercoder DAO has definitely been one of the most valuable projects. Like people who, it's a big collection. The holders of that project are really believe in the value of it. There's there's an underlying product to it. There's an underlying token to it. So it makes sense. Solana Monkey business. That's like one of the very early blue chip. Like it's just cut through as I think like a clear winner. DJ Ape Academy, really similar. Really was able to kind of create a brand around the Degenerate Apes, which is super cool. A Rory gaming project. So the market cap, I think, does a pretty good job of indicating like interest from the community and value that people ascribe to it. It can change based on like, hey, is it a 1,000 item collection? Is it a 10,000 item collection? So
Okay.
that can skew market cap a little bit. Other columns we have here of like floor price. That's really to give you a sense of like, let's say you're like, hey, I want to get one. Like, if you can't afford the floor, like that's helpful to know. But also, if you have one, like you kind of just want to track what's happening with floor prices over time. 7 day volume, I think, is always a really good metric to sort on. And you can always click on columns, by the way, if you're ever trying to sort.
Through each
Um,
one's nice.
yeah, volume, for example, if you sort on like 7 day tell you like, hey, like these are collections that are trading a lot recently. So the Suites is one of the newer collections on Solana. That's something that people are really excited by. A really good team behind it. Portals is a great collection. So um, I think that market cap, volume, the price, like those are pretty fundamental. But other metrics that we've added here, and we actually want to add a lot more.
Nice.
Percent of tokens listed is something that we were really interested in. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
were playing around with like, should we have number of token holders, for example, because we were like, there's only so much space on the leaderboard, just like the front page. So like, let's say we put up one more metric. We used to actually have Twitter followers. And
Okay.
we're like, okay, Twitter followers can be gamed a little bit these days. It gets botted up.
Yeah.
So, but the number of token holders, it's like, okay, what does it tell you? It tells you the problem with number of token holders, I think, is that like it doesn't reveal much. Like you'd expect a 10,000 item collection to have, call it 3, 4,000
Mm-hmm.
people holding it, maybe 5,000 if it's really spread out. But we thought percent of tokens listed was a really good metric to show. So like, hey, are a lot of people in the collection trying to sell out, sell out of the collection, or are there people who are like holders? So you'll see really interesting economic principles here where it's like, okay, there's a reward for staking your NFT, and so that disincentivizes people from listing it to be sold, and so they take it off an exchange, and kind of that's like natural upward movement on the price. So that's kind of how I would think about that metric versus if you see like, hey, 25% of them are listed, it's like, okay, do people really believe in the project? Are they trying
Yeah.
to keep up with it? And then I think that if you're somebody who has like a vision that you really believe in the NFT space, so you might say like, hey, I really think gaming is going to be hot. That's why we added the tags at the top there.
I was just about to ask with the tabs, why did you have it that way? And then I liked it as well because, like you just said, if someone's looking for a gaming thing or a PFP or exactly like that's on point for someone like me, because I'd be like, the hell do they do? Oh, okay, let me just click it and see what's going on. So I guess who? Never mind, go ahead and finish. I'll say who thought of that one, and how long did it take to get that in place since August?
Yeah, I think it was Santosh on our team actually. It was one of the co-founders who was like, "Hey, we actually like we're getting lost in such a long leaderboard, and it kind of doesn't give enough color to some of our users now that there's so many. So let's add tags." It didn't take us very long, long to launch. There's a couple of things we had to clean up in our backend to make it happen, and then we actually had to go, hey, like which projects are which, like, and it was really, to be honest, it was really like the hardest part of it was really figuring out, like, let's say a project is like, hey, we might launch a game in like 3 months. You kind of have to we had to decide, which we never want to be in the position of like being too subjective, like, all right, is it a gaming project though? And they're like, oh, you're going to do this thing for utility, and you're like, all right, but is it a utility project? So like gaming, like we try to really flag like, hey, these are like real, like they're very much oriented around launching a game. It's not like kind of a side agenda. And that's how we really approach the tagging, where it was like utility is like really core to what they're doing, or like PFPs is really the main, like 90% of the purpose, and so on and so forth with like collectibles. Metaverse is really things that are, for example, like land based, or like having like a virtual gallery. And then generative art is kind of a tricky category, because people are like, well, aren't they all generative collections? But really, like, I think you kind of see from the first ones, like, all right, fract, like ones that are more like algorithmically generated, from a set of parameters. And then we just have a new tag, which is basically like projects that were launched in the last, I want to say, I think our filtering is launched in the last 2 weeks. So, okay. Again, just ways to just really quick ways for users to drill down into like, hey, what's happening in the Solana space?
No, I think it's very helpful because like I was telling you beforehand, you were asking if I keep track of my profit and losses, and I said no because I'm not really doing anything. Like my buddy, he does a lot of stuff, which he's honestly always looking at the volume, things like that, because makes sense as a trader. If you're going to be trading something, you don't want anything with just low volume. At the same time, he's always looking at market cap, things like that. So everyone who knows crypto will love exactly what's going on. And like for the people that are listening in, the little things that it might seem super simple are the things that can help you, I guess, make the decisions overall. For projects, I guess, how does the project, I guess, get listed on y'all's site? Do they have to reach out to y'all? Do y'all reach out to them? Do y'all say no to people? I guess how does that work as a NFT project?
We try to put a couple different like forums throughout, like Discord, Twitter. Like you can even see there, it's really small, but like there's a hey, apply using this form button, like right above the tags. And I think we might have it we probably have it on the FAQs on the site there as well. But we have a couple different ways of applying. There's different things to apply for. So for example, if you want to apply for the upcoming, that's different than applying for the leaderboard. And really, when I say applying, we're not in the business of like, we're not like accepting you into Harvard. We're just like, hey, you need you to submit a form because we want to know about every project that is launching, because we want to get you out there to the community. But if we don't know about it, it's hard. And so we will go check and be like, hey, are we, because maybe people haven't heard of us, but we know about collections that are launching. Like, okay, maybe we try to go at it, or we reach out to them and be like, hey, could you submit this form so we make sure that all the details are correct. In an ideal world for us, everybody just comes to us and is like, hey, let's submit this form. And yeah, we like, let's say you apply to be on upcoming, like we throw you up there pretty immediately. I think for leaderboard, the only thing that we watch out for is like if there's like projects that are really, really clear rugs. Something that's just like an absolute ripoff, that we think is just like, it's not in the spirit of the space, or something that the community is really upset about. Like we try not to draw attention to it. And it's not because we want to be like this, again, we don't want to be this like subjective decider of like what is important in the space or not, right? I think that's for the community to drive. But because we have so many users come to our site, who are looking for like, okay, what's a good NFT collection that I should maybe join or be a part of. We want to be cautious about like sending them there, right? Because we
100%.
by having these here, it drives traffic to, to all these projects. And so like, if we start driving traffic to like a scam, like we would just be we would feel terrible about that. So that's the balance in terms of like us accepting or removing ones from any pages on our site.
Nice. I guess analytic part on do you know, I guess, how many honestly users do like go to your site like on an average, just like I guess in the sense of when you started in August and compared to now, is it, I mean, I guess you don't have to know this exactly, but just in the essence of, have y'all seen like the growth in NFTs in Solana, like with y'all's, not exactly like your website, y'all stuff in Solana, but has it been more people with the growth of Solana? Like what is y'all's mindset when it's y'all's three drinking a beer? You're like, damn man, like this shit's crazy. Like what are those thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, it is unbelievable how quickly the market can grow and even shrink, right? Like
Yeah.
like you get a week where volume is just down and like I remember it was a month ago where everybody was maybe it's, yeah, a month and a half ago, everybody's freaking out like, oh, the market's dead because like let's say trading volume right now for 7 days 50 million, like what you have in the kind of the top middle there, the 50 million number.
Mm-hmm.
That number was like it went down to like let's call it 20 million or something like that. And so it was just severely down. Solana price was like severely down. So like a lot of people were really nervous. And then for us, in some cases, like it was a little low in the market, so we end up getting a little bit less traffic. And then now it's picked up a lot again. So I think that naturally we're going to get the most traffic when the market is doing well and is really hot. That's kind of the way I think crypto is in general, which is like moments of really high volatility is when you see the most traffic, obviously.
No, for sure. Question on I guess for the question I got honestly, because I don't do too much research on the NFTs because again I'm not really buying too much. You got a select wallet up there. What's the select wallet on? You selling NFTs on there, or is that the flex for the NFTs you were speaking of before, or is there any other, I guess, purpose utility on, I guess, for that?
Oh, there's going to be a lot that you can connect your wallet for that's coming
Okay.
up soon. But you're exactly right. There's two different places you can use it today. So NFT, actually three different places. NFT Flex, you connect your wallet. If you're really just curious, like, hey, how much are my, and like what's a good estimate for my NFTs? Again, not financial advice, but like we have models that will try to help estimate the value. I think it could be really powerful for somebody who's like, first of all, how are my NFTs doing in general? Like, okay, like my portfolio value is 100 SOL today. In a week ago it was at 80. So like clearly things are growing a little bit, and those our models are updating estimates on a regular basis. Um, in terms of and then also with NFT Flex, like if you're hey, but I don't even know like I just kind of want some help.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we thought it could be really useful in terms of like, hey, like make sure that you're not, or even if you were trying to go buy one, for example, like just make sure you're not like getting ripped off here. Um, on the upcoming tab, like I said, like we have the liking feature, and actually you can't just like because you actually do need to connect your wallet in order to like something. So I
Okay.
think if you tried to hit the heart on one of those, it would probably be like, oh no, you got to connect your wallet.
Yep. Connect wallet. I like it. I like
So
it.
we actually do on-chain like message signing as a way of liking and verifying users. And then on Moonshot for our launch pad, whenever we launch projects, we'll set up a mint site for them, and you'll connect your wallet in order to mint. So this is more of our landing page, but we'll actually create like a subdomain of our own website. So it'll be like
Okay.
mint.solanalysis.com / like the collection name.
Nice.
We probably link through to it from here, honestly. But yeah, we thought it was also really maybe comforting or reassuring for users of like every time you have to connect to a new mint site, it's a little scary. You're like, what, what am I getting?
Mm-hmm.
What am I signing here? What am I getting myself into? And we saw an opportunity, or not just saw an opportunity, but like we really like this idea of like being a reassuring place. One of the really early, there were some really early on messes, I think, with minting. Like Aurora was one, for example, where there was like a malicious link that started going around, and people tried to connect to like that version of Aurora, and it's like, okay, like that's really a shame.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people who now lost money. It still happens. It's happened with other projects, and so I think that it's a little bit more reassuring for users that like they can come to soulanalysis.com, navigate to some of our launchpad projects, and mint from there. And you're not connecting to like a totally new website for the 50th time. You're connected to the same website, and you should always like follow best practice as far as like burner wallets, etc. But they're still even the money that you would allocate into that wallet, you still don't want to lose it. So
No, 100%. I guess question on we kind of brought it up beforehand with maybe not misconceptions, but what are I guess some misconceptions people have with solar analysis that I guess things that y'all do don't do. I guess kind of what were you mentioning beforehand, like on that.
yeah, I think what we don't want to do is like we're not really trying to shill for the ecosystem. We're not trying to be like an influencer in the space. Like we're very much trying to be a professional platform. And honestly, like you use this every day and we don't charge for it, right? Like that's our goal. Like we want to
Nice.
add advanced analytics, for example, on every collection and like a bunch of even cooler features than that. We're not going to charge users for it. So we really just care about building and getting building a product, building as much of a community as possible. And like honestly, I would say almost more generally, like one of our big goals is to make Solana NFTs an amazing experience. We want the NFT experience on Solana to be amazing.
No, I like it. That was honestly gonna be my next question. You kind of answered on that one. What is y'all's goal? What do y'all want to be known for? In the Solana space in general. Just for being the best, I guess, space, or I mean, what do you be known for, or is it just that? You know what I mean? Just being the best.
I think what we want, is really to bring as many people into NFTs as possible. We always say like, hey, we want to bring the next. Solana speaks about bringing the next billion people into into crypto. We kind of are like, hey, like let's start with 100 million. So we throw around 100, but we're like, hey, like how are we going to do that? We have to build the best user experience possible. We have to educate users about why it's important. We have to build tools that support them, that give people confidence that what they're doing makes sense. Without that confidence, without that transparency, without understanding what it is, like there's no way we scale past this. And I think what people really lose track of is how many people are in the space. I don't actually have an exact number, but it's just very small relative to what it's going to be in a year or 2 years time. And so that's what we're really trying. Every product, every feature, etc. Like we're still we kind of joke around like, oh, we ship a product a month. Like we threw out NFT Flex as part of the Solana hackathon, the upcoming site Moonshot, and now we're working on a bunch of other tools in terms of aggregating marketplaces. But with that, like we're just trying to get to that our North Star is really like, hey, somebody totally new to this space, maybe your younger sibling or your friends who are into crypto, what's going to make them really want to be part of this, and like when they do get here, that it just like they're able to get up to speed really quickly.
Nice. And I guess a question because another one with I'm working a lot. You know what I mean? So I'll be on my phone looking on Twitter. Y'all are always on like Twitter Space and stuff like that. I guess on those, is it just something y'all I guess line up just to kind of let people know what's going on, or if projects are listening, do y'all set them up that way? I guess what do y'all do in the Twitter Spaces that way? Is it just for knowledge, everything like that, or what's
Yeah,
the Twitter Space? We're not
it's a
not talking
combination.
Twitter space. What do y'all do in y'all's Twitter space?
I think we're figuring out the strategy there a little bit. Like you know, what do people care about? You know, what matter? Like, is it more educational? Is it more like publicity for new projects? Is it maybe in some cases publicity for older projects? So we've tried all of those. But one thing I'm really big at is like I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do a Twitter space, it's not gonna be cookie cutter. It's not gonna be boring
Yeah.
because like I can't, like it's so I don't know. For me personally, really, it's like to go on those and just be like ask the same exact thing every time. And like, especially with projects, it's like, okay, like, well, oh, like what, what's your roadmap? And it ends up being highly regurgitated. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like totally, it's not always totally new content. And so I'm like, all right, like if we're going to do this, like, let's make them crazy. Let's ask some really, really tough
How
questions.
fast
Like,
you're in the 40? What are you talking about? We're talking crypto. Exactly. But when's the last time you shot a 3-pointer? That's the stuff I always be asking just because I'm random as fuck like that, bro. Just like how you came in here, they're live and you gotta get people offset, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
love
whoa,
it.
Um,
I love it, man.
with, I was trying to think with the, y'all made it in August. A question we honestly ask a lot of projects in general, because a lot of them are just NFT projects. Y'all might not have had too many, you know what I mean, from coming from MIT, but what were some honestly hiccups, problems y'all had from starting the project up to now? And honestly, how did you get over them?
Oh boy. We're first of all, we're not all just a couple of us that know each other from IT, but
Heard.
we have definitely hit. We've definitely had a lot of hiccups along the way. There's a new hiccup, every day. Sometimes it's like a matter of like, did we build this to scale? Like, oh, when we built this, it was about getting it out the door really quickly, and now actually we have like, you know, uh, we have thousands of more users going to the to this. Maybe we launched it when we had like 1,000 users. Now there's 20,000 users on this one page, and so like like now what we're doing, like maybe querying we're doing is suboptimal, for example. So there's a million and one things that happen. Sometimes if there's like let's say there's a Solana network issue, what do you do then? Like, let's say we're about to run a mint, right? Like we have a new project that's minting. Like,
Yeah.
how do we handle that? So I feel like there's a new challenge every day, and there's things that we definitely don't build for. But I think a lot of the challenge for us is this balance of like, and I think you have to in this space, like building and shipping really, really quickly, balancing that with like building things like uh, and with some level of with some level of excellence and perfection. You can never do it fully perfect because then you'll never ship. But if you ship too quickly, now you're going to have to go back and like do some repairs. And so we're
Mm-hmm.
always playing that that rebalancing game.
Um, question, probably simple API answer on that one, but is that how y'all get all the metrics on all of the NFTs that way, or I guess how's all that stuff got taken?
Yeah, so we're committed to doing things on chain. So we uh, we go query effectively. We go pull on chain data across the different marketplaces. I think
Okay.
it's something that was really important for a lot of users, especially with like you started to see a lot of fragmentation across NFT marketplaces, where it was like, okay, there's Solana art, okay, there's SolSea, Digitalize, Alpha Art, Exchange Art, Magic Eden. If I didn't say Magic Eden
Everything.
already, Fractals launching, and like it's there's constantly more and more launching, and so like we were like, okay, like it's really important that the user experience doesn't get ruined in
Mm-hmm.
doing this because there's some collections that are only on this marketplace, some collections that are on that marketplace. There's some collections that are on both of these, and so it's like, okay, let's say I want to get Degen apes, or I want to buy a Degen ape, and I went to look at it here, but actually the one I probably would have gotten was over there.
Yeah.
That's a major pain point, and that's something that we want to solve for users.
Nice. Um, I guess kind of the last question ish, because I just looked at the time. I'm past that 30-minute mark, so I apologize, but thank you on that one. With, I guess, with with y'all, I mean, do y'all have anything y'all are, I guess, working on alpha-wise that y'all can, I guess, let us know? Or is it, again, just more of the moonshots updates, you know, upcoming stuff like that? Or what are, I guess, you and the team hype about that you can mention as of right now?
Yeah, we try not to mention all that much until we're like ready to do it, you know.
100%,
But
100%.
I'd say there's a combination of there's a bunch of moonshot projects that we have coming up that we're really excited for. That I like personally, I'm like, hey, these are very cool. Obviously, people should go do their own research, but I think we're getting better at it. I think that we're getting better at like partnering with good projects too. And then there's a lot that we're going to be launching in terms of basically helping people, you know, helping people trade NFTs. And so I think that, you know, again, there's some of those pain points for users of like, hey, like, how do I know, like, what is this worth? Or like, you know, like, how do I sell this, or how do I buy this, or like, what's the right one to buy, etc. And a lot of those pain points that just make people really comfortable and like feel at ease with trading NFTs. We're about to launch a bunch of things there in the coming months. So
nice. I guess where can people find y'all at? Is it the best to go on like the Twitter? Do you have a Discord? Where's the best place to find information on y'all?
Yeah, honestly, I think our website, soulanalysis.com, great place to start if you want to get familiar with things. Our Twitter is where we're probably most active, and our like tag, our handle rather is also Soul Analysis, and then we have a Discord, and we, you know, probably aren't personally active there as we are on Twitter, to be totally honest. But we're trying to build up a good community of people who are like, you know, who are interested in following upcoming mints, trading NFTs, talking about building in the space. So I would poke around both. Probably easiest thing to do to start is just go follow us on Twitter, check out our website, and see if you like it.
100%. I guess, I mean, realistically, any points and stuff we haven't really talked about that you do want to let the community in general know about, or anything we haven't touched on that you would like to I guess tell people about?
I don't have too much, but what I will say is that we love talking to the community and like having the community be a part of what we're doing. Like, we really think of ourselves as built for the community. And so we're constantly trying to figure out like, hey, how can we reward our community? Like I said before, like when we build a lot of these like tools and analytics, like some people will try to throw that behind a paywall. We're trying to do things completely free. And we're trying to constantly figure out like what are interesting ways that we can reward our community members, like people who have been with us really early on, or who've been really active in, you know, on our platform. Yeah, I think we're going to do a bunch of things there to you know, we're still figuring it out. And if people in the community have great ideas, we're all ears.
Hell yeah. I guess on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to say thank you for coming on, tuning in, and correcting me on pronouncing the name wrong like a complete idiot. But
I will give you a little alpha there.
Oh,
okay. We are gonna rebrand. We're gonna rebrand pretty soon, and it's so there's no more confusion about how to say it.
Okay, because listen, some people like me be looking, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! But you should rename it to Caca. You know, but no, seriously, stick around for a quick second. I'm gonna go ahead and end it kind of like I did on the start. I will put you on the spot. You don't have to. Can I get a caca from me, bro?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
right.
people, yeah, caca. That's what I'm talking about. All right, bro. Stick around for a quick second. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to say thank you very much, Soul Analyst, for coming on, tuning in, showing some love. Once again, shout out to everyone for coming in and tuning in. As always, y'all, stay fresh, stay clean, stay positive. And as always, one more time, caca.